I would like to talk today about the power of prayer and why we need prayer in this time. And actually, prayer gives us the chance to really connect to the divine and to bring back the power into our own hands. And this is God's gift to us. And what I would like to share today is mostly based on the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Craig Braden, and the work of the Heart Math Institute. And at the point we were setting up the date for this day, I had no idea that this is a very powerful cosmic portal that we set up today. It's spring equinox. It's a powerful new beginning. And we would like today to create a heart space, a heartfelt vortex from the Russell Museum into the field, into the quantum field. And I would love to invite everybody also on the Zoom, on Facebook and everywhere to be with us today for a worldwide meditation. And it's shown, scientific proof has shown that we are all connected to each other, to the quantum field, the unified field, and that every thought we have, every action we take, everything we do and think, subconsciously or consciously, has a big impact on the field around us. So when we see right now the separation that's going on with the mask wearing and the ridiculous separation, 6 distance apart, this shows that this whole think tank is coming from a very old paradigm that actually has, in this new energy, no time to exist and no time to live at all. And it's very interesting, our ancestors have still been very deeply connected to the divine. They knew that there was a higher source, there was a higher connection. The ancestors have been very much in contact with something higher than themselves. They prayed to gods, to goddesses. Hello, welcome. They were praying, they had natural spirits, animal spirits, or whatever they prayed to, they worshipped. And this is since the Vedas 5,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago in the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have proof, we have evidence that humanity was always in connection and had been somehow guided divinely by a higher source. And what we find right now, I'm going to talk later also, I'm going to introduce to you Craig Braden's groundbreaking work about the divine matrix and that there's a genetic code, God imprint in our DNA. And what we see today is that with the vaccinations, they want to interfere with that genetic divine code. And I'm going to tell you why they try to do this and why it's important to still stay in contact with everything that's connected with this. So what we find in the Bible, you see the word is very powerful, and it's already written in John 1:1. It's written the word, in the beginning was the word. So when you see the word is very powerful, you see the F word, the sword. If you eliminate the S, you have the word, and the word can be as powerful as the sword if you know how to use it. And this is why the ancient codes come in and they teach us how to use these ancient codes. And you might have already heard that in the Bible and all these ancient scriptures, there has been always some kind of hidden stuff or left out stuff, which is the most important thing. What they leave out, what they don't want us to know, is actually the most important thing that should make us be aware. So Rudolf Steiner, he knew already in the 1917, it's more than 100 years ago, he knew, and I have told you that the spirits of darkness are going to inspire their human hosts in whom they will be dwelling to find a vaccine that will drive all inclination towards spirituality out of people's souls when they are very young. And really think about this. How did he know in the 1900s already that the vaccine would occur? And this is exactly what I was saying. They try to interfere, they try to play God. They try to interfere with the genetic code. And interestingly, what they are working on is in the DNA, that part that's standing for empathy and love and compassion. They're going after this part in our DNA that actually makes us human. So, and if you think about this, this has very, very high implications, and you might think differently about this, but do some research and just give it some thoughts. So if we think about that, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. This brings us back that everything is sound, everything is vibration, and how important that is. So in every thought, every idea is also sending out a certain kind of vibration into the cosmos. And we are not separate. In that paradigm of technology in this world, we have been made believe that we are separate from each other, and that we need experts on the outside to tell us how to feel, what medicine to take. And it's coming really to a point of really crisis and absolute. There has to be a turning point at one point. And so we want to be very careful how we use our words. And then there is, Greg Braden talked about the divine matrix. So, and Dr. Wayne Dyer, which I also got very inspired a long time ago, and he said, do you believe that you live in a hostile universe, or do you believe in a friendly and life-supporting universe? And this is where we go as a humanity. There seems to be a rising up on the one point, the ascending process into a different kind of world that we all want to live in, or are we descending or ascending? And it's everybody's unique choice which part we are going to take. So the divine matrix, Greg Braden was talking about that there's a divine matrix, and that God has left his imprint in our DNA. And this is the other matrix. This is the technological world that we're finding ourselves in. We have surveillance 24/7. We have 5G. We have all kinds of unbelievable technology used in a way that can be used either in the divine matrix in a positive, life-affirming way, or we can use it in this way where you're trapped, like I think Nemo, what's the guy's name, the hero's name in the Matrix? Does anybody know? Neo, yeah. So he was the one who took the red pill, and this is really interesting. We are divided in America right now. Do we take the red pill or the blue pill? And this is really interesting because the symbolic shows up in the movies, it shows up everywhere. So there's more in this than meets the eye. So in which matrix do we want to live? In the divine? Or do we want to live in that technological world and get the vaccine and get told what to do? And I guess the people who are gathering here, I hope that you really come from the divine matrix. Does not have anything to do with the judgment or better or less. It's just a choice. We are really at a point where we have a choice. So how can we use words? It's the Buddha said, words have the power to both destroy, and heal. And when words are both true and kind, they can change our world. And this is where we find ourselves in. And we have to be aware that every thought that we think creates, even from the subconscious mind. And what we are finding ourselves in right now is really a deep crisis in consciousness. And the only way how we can change this is to expand our consciousness and to really change our minds and to change the way how we treat each other and how we are treating ourselves and our fellow human beings. So the good news is we can interrupt the patterns of thinking. Scientists found out that we think about 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. It's pretty amazing. And we are mostly thinking the same thoughts over and over again. We have habitual robotic habits of behaviors. We get up in the morning, we have our favorite coffee mug, and we do the same things over and over again. And then we complain and we think, why is my life not changing? Well, if I never change a damn thing, I don't observe my thoughts, and I'm dominated by my subconscious mind and thoughts and beliefs. Nothing ever can change. And when we see the state of the world right now that we're in, I think it becomes really obvious that we are in a big crisis of thought, of the subconscious mind, of habitual. We're driven by our senses, we're driven by our drives that we have, instant gratification and all these things. And this is going to lead us nowhere in the long term. There needs to be a change. So what does prayer mean? I like this definition here. Prayer is consciously hanging out with God and being with God in a deliberate way. I just heard something from somebody that in California, the word God seems to be kind of not political correct, or I don't know how to express this. But if we live in a world where God is not in the equation anymore, we cannot thrive on this planet. However you call this God, if you call it Buddha, Prana, the divine source, Kundalini energy, however you call it, but there is a higher organizing principle in the universe, and we cannot live without this. And if we have censorship, this is like in communist China, where we have censorship. There's no God in communism. There's no belief. You have to believe in the government. You have to believe what the politicians tell you. And this is exactly where we find ourselves in. So we wonder, this is a little bit of scientific part of the whole thing, to understand the science of our thoughts and beliefs, and what this all has to do with our neurons. We're neurological beings, also the neurons, how they fire and wire in our brains. And new findings in biology and neuroscience found that we are constantly in exchange with our environment. These, the chants and the prayers and the hymns, if we repetitively repeat this, it can rewire our brains. So anytime we repeat something, we get really deep into something, we contemplate about something, we have the chance to rewire our brain connections, and the connection also to our hearts. So in this time of great change, and we are forced to leave behind our comfort zones and to leave these robotic behaviors behind and to expand our consciousness. And so what we have to do, we have to create the feeling first. We are trained to pray in a way that we want something from the divine source, from God. And if God doesn't fulfill and doesn't deliver in a fast way, then we'd say, oh yeah, it's not working. I'm going to turn I don't want anything to do with this. So I'm not going to pray. It's not going to work. And what's really important is that the feeling is the prayer. So we got to generate that feeling of the outcome already generated first. And there's a very nice example with this. This is a native shaman. And I like this story a lot. It's Craig Braden told that. And I want to really honor Craig Braden's work and all the wonderful people who are tirelessly working to make this ancient wisdom knowledgeable again to a modern society that have completely lost the connection to this. He was with the shaman friends in the desert of New Mexico, and there was a drought for months and months, no rain. And then they were standing and they were praying for rain. And guess what happened? Nothing happened. And then the shaman said, we have to do it differently. And he did a ceremony, and he raised his head towards the sky and the arms, and he was really in connection with something. And all of a sudden, the clouds were showing up, and it poured rain, and it was raining for days and days and days. So it rained so much that it was flooding. everywhere. So when Craig Braden asked his friend, so what did you different? What did you do different to the beginning? And he said, well, I was already having the feeling that it rained. I was standing there, I felt the rain on my skin, I could smell, my feet were standing in the mud, and I could already feel as if this already happened. And this is very important to understand. We got to generate the feeling of our body in our body, and that's very essential to understand. So if we find ourselves in a crisis in our lives, if we have to suffer from a disease, if we make it through a divorce or whatever is going on, and you see yourself, you want some change in your life, you see yourself already as healed. And this is really very essential to understand and to contemplate upon. So we have to learn to think from the end and to be able to generate the feeling of the outcome that's wanted. And one thing that's also blocking us to find a new way, we have been really messed up with Christianity and with the Catholic Church and the Vatican, I have to say, because with that, we lost our true connection to God. What the Vatican, what the Catholic Church did, they put themselves in between us and God, and they showed us what ceremonies are allowed, how we're supposed to be. And from all that is exposed right now from the church and what's going on behind the scenes, not only in the church, shows us very clearly that something's really very terribly wrong. And there's another thing that's very important, that we find back our own way of prayer. We're going to do a prayer later together. It's going to be also a practical part. This is all about the science right now. When Craig Braden also, I love to just his stories and his examples. And he was in a monastery in Tibet, and he asked the monk, so tell me about the prayers. I want to know the technique. How does this work? And the monk just smiled at him and he said, it's not about the words. It's not about the techniques. It's about the feeling that these words generate in your body. And this is what we have to learn again. We lost that connection completely. We just were taught to repeat words and prayers in a dull way, didn't have any meaning. But now we have the chance in this amazing time to learn and to create a new relationship with the divine, with God, or whatever you want to call it. You have to excuse my German accent, and now and again, if I would express this in German, it would be more fluid. So bear with me. So in that way, we also, what we have to learn, what we see the world right now, in the state the world is, we see very clearly that we lost the connection to our heart. Definitely. A heart-based living is really based on an understanding that we have compassion and that we treat our fellow humans like we want to be treated. This goes back to ancient principles, to what Jesus told us: treat your neighbors as yourself, love your neighbor as yourself. So where do we start? We start with loving ourselves first. We have been trained, especially women, to always serve on the outside and to be there for others. But where are we in the end? So there's a big, everything has to be come back to balance again. So we have to learn to live from the heart again. And this is, most of you might be familiar with the Institute of Heart Math. They were founded as a non-profit organization 20 years ago already in Boulder, California. And they are dedicated to empowering heart-based living on the planet. They have wonderful programs. I would highly recommend you to check it out on the webs. It's the Institute of Heart Math, and they work together with the Global Coherence Initiative. It's called GCI Institute, Global Coherence Initiative. And it's just amazing what these guys are doing. Since 20 years, they have proved that we are all connected in our hearts. And this is why there's even no time. So the people in the Zoom right now, it doesn't matter if you only come in 1 hour later, 2 days later, we are timeless. And in this new era, there's even no time. it doesn't matter. The timelines are going parallel, and there's no time at all. So what they did, they wanted to find proof. Is there a unified field? Are we really connected in the hearts? And they installed these monitors all over the globe, as you see. There's Japan, New Zealand, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, all over the globe. And there's a global care room. And I took part already in Germany in 2006, I think I started. And regularly, when there was something, a crisis or a danger for war going on the planet, you can check into global meditations. It's called Global Care Room. And you connect in the hearts and you put your loving focus and care and love into the areas when there's an earthquake going on or whatever, and you connect your heart and you send your energy into the place. And they found amazing. They can measure this in the meantime. So these monitors really exist. They measure very accurately. It has an impact on the electromagnetic field, how we feel, and on the ionosphere and the resonance in the ionosphere. So this is also called the Schumann resonance. You might have heard that when there's something going on. They found that when 9/11 happened, already 1 or 2 days before, hours before, the spikes were going up in the curve significantly. So you can see, and they also already had in the laboratory, they had experiments where people get shown pictures, and before they even see the picture, the heart rate already changes. So there seems to be something going on very magically, very interestingly, that shows we are way more. So we can even, we can register something that changes our inner world. We can change, we can already recognize that way before it happens. This shows us, for example, when there's an earthquake and the wild animals, the white horses or whatever, they feel it and they leave the place. So, you have a question? How many did you count? 12. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah. I think they have some more in the meantime, as far as I know. They're constantly working and refining this. And it's just amazing what the experiments. So this is really for people who come very much from the brain and from the mind to explain them. There is evidence, there's scientific proof for this. And this is just amazing. That's why I love this work, because it's really for people who are only coming from the mind, don't believe in God, don't believe in a unified field. We are all just just carbon and just thrown into the universe, and just robots, this is this kind of world picture that they presented to us for almost 2000 years. So the most important thing that they found, from the most powerful thing that they found out about the Heart Math Institute, that the heart is 100,000 times stronger electrically and 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. And what did we learn? I learned, the brain is the master, the brain and the mind is the most important thing. It's just the other way around. And when you see this, it's so beautiful. If you are in a very strong heart coherence, you have a strong electromagnetic field around you, which is also your protection shield. So we are taught, if we are weak in our heart, if we are very compassionate and very loving, that was presented to us to be weak. But we're coming now in a time where this all changes around. The meek shall inherit the earth, it said. So the softness and the loving and the kindness is going to rule the earth when we get rid of this other kind of thinking that has been spreading like a cancer almost on the planet. So this is just beautiful, and it's measurable, several feet around our body. And it's not just that this is just some kind of theory. They really measured this. So here's some very interesting things about the heart. First of all, in the fetal development, the heart forms and starts beating before the brain begins to develop. I find this very fascinating. And the moment the heartbeat starts in the embryo, this is the moment where the divine spark, or whatever you call it, brings some kind of electricity into the human being, the God spark, or whatever the Sufis, they say that God lives in the heart. This divine spark, what is it? Whatever you want to call it, but there's something mystically very magical happening here. And I said this already with that torus around us. This means that each and every one is a powerful technology. We've seen the movie Thrive here. They were talking about the torus field, but each and every one of us is also a torus field, a strong, powerful field. They also found that negative emotions have a they cause creative nervous system. They cause chaos in our DNA. They cause chaos in our body. But positive emotions can increase the brain's ability to make good decisions. We are creative. When we are in a very coherent and in a peaceful and harmonious state, we can make very good decisions. And right now we are put again into survival mode. And this is going on since thousands and thousands of years. Human beings from a kind of dark force or whatever you call it, we were always kept by the elites or a ruling class or government or whatever. We were always been held in survival mode. And when we are in survival mode, we cannot be creative. We cannot make good decisions. And see, everybody today is so afraid of each other, not wearing a mask and all these things. So this has a very significant impact. When we generate positive emotions in the heart, is again, we generate the feeling first. This has a very positive effect on our immune system, and we can get healthy and strong if we generate positive emotions. But we cannot go on like this with the mask and all the fear mongering in the mass media all the time. This cannot work. So what we have to learn to come from the heart again. Now, Michaela left the place. I would like to move on with my the role of the heart. So actually I had it already all set up. So what's still in another thing that's very interesting, that the heart sends way more signals to the brain than the other way around. So, and the heart has a complex nervous system all in itself, and this is called the heart brain. So this is only the heart has its own nervous system. Yeah, the heart communicates through nerves physically and through hormones and electromagnetically. So when the heart sends out the signals to the brain, and when there's coherence going on, then the brain sends out the hormones and all the signals so that the organs can work in a very efficient way, and then we are healthy. Actually, this is the perfect definition of health, to be in a heart coherent space. So, as I said, there's a constant energetic communication going on, and they could really demonstrate that and showed in the research that the heart, when we are in a strong heart coherence, we send strong electromagnetic signals out into our environment, and they could really measure this. And this is pretty amazing. So this is not just, oh, you come from the heart and it doesn't have any impact, but this is scientific proof. They could repeat this over and over again in laboratory. And this is the real definition for science, means you can repeat it over and over again. What we are confronted right now is scientism. This is a cult. We have to believe in certain things that they have no scientific proof at all, but this is really bulletproof. So the next one is one of my favorite pictures. I sent it to my beloved partner Charles when we still were only in connection via email. And he felt very weird about it in the beginning. But that was always I love this picture. To not, yeah, but this is the thing. If we only come from the heart, that doesn't do so much. It's nice to come from the heart, but we need the brain. The brain is a powerful processor. The brain is a powerful, like a computer. If we want to work out some plans to build something or develop something, we need the brain. So they need to walk hand in hand. And I just love this picture. So I would like to just one more time, the definition for heart brain coherence is when the heart and the mind are working together in perfect balance and harmony, when there's no inner conflict, when there's nothing but collaboration. The heart sends signals to the brain and the brain sends out the perfect amount of hormones and chemicals for well-being and health into the body. This sets the tone for being effective and successful in the world and to live in abundance, peace, and harmony, to be creative and to be the creators that we are meant to be. I made a little map for you, and I put together from Craig Braden's amazing book that we from the Divine Matrix, the 20 keys to be powerful creators. That's what we really are. And what we see right now, they want to disempower us, they want to weaken us, they want to weaken our immune system. And it's about time that this ends now. Now I talked a lot about the heart, and now I want to come to the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and this changed my world forever. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he had an accident with a bicycle going on, and he used to be a chiropractor, and he had a very serious accident. His spine was broke several times, and he ended up in the hospital. And they told him, the doctors, the scientists, the experts told him that he could never walk again in his life. And he said, no way, I'm not going to accept this. So he developed, while he was laying for months and months in his bed, he developed the technique to overcome, to regenerate the brain, to rethink and to think from the end and to heal his body. And he saw himself already as healed. And he got healed, and he's working all over the world. He's giving amazing seminars. I would highly recommend the book. I laid out some books over there. What's that book again? I forgot the name now. What's the title of the book? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, How to Lose Your Mind and to Create a New One. That's what I was looking for. And he says, through new thoughts and habits, we can rewire and refire the brain circuits. This reorganizes the circuits in the brain, which leads to a moment of total transcendence. And we become nobody in no space and no time. This means that we have to leave our old ego self behind. And transcendence means that we are one with our infinite soul. We become one with our infinite self. But we can only do this if we leave all the known ego structures behind. And when we rewire the brain and change our thoughts, we shift the focus and we free ourselves and detach from our problems. And that's exactly what he did. And latest research supports the notion that we have a natural ability to change the brain and body by thought alone, so that it looks biologically like some future event has already happened. Because you can make thought more real than anything else. You can change who you are from brain cell to gene, given the right understanding. And the right understanding is what we have to learn now. We have to come to a completely new understanding of, we can relearn everything that we have been learning for such a long time. So that's really very powerful. And he's helping thousands of people. You can check it out on YouTube. There are cases of people who attended his workshops. He makes people just do unbelievable things, to jump, bungee jumping from a large tower, with people who had really unbelievable anxiety attacks before, but he makes them really overcome these limited beliefs they have about themselves and the world. and what they are capable to do, and they just jump. And only by doing this jumping and having this feeling in the body, they get healed. It's just amazing. Check it out on YouTube. It's just, yeah. Thank you, Dr. Joe Dispenza, at this point for all the amazing work. So, and what this is also implicating is very powerful. We have to turn off our attention from the 3D reality and off everything that we know. And this is very hard for us, especially as human beings. We love our comfort zones, and but to really have this transcendence with the divine presence, we have to leave everything behind that is known and dear to us. And that doesn't mean that we have to abandon our family or whatever, but it's just for this magical moment. This brings us into, it's opening the doors to the quantum field. That's the only way. We have to believe, we have to leave behind the ego structures and everything known and familiar, and have to leave this 3D reality behind. And this is actually, if we see this brain, this is the frontal lobe, this is the future of human development. Right now, we are supposed to react from the back part of the brain is reactive, reptilian brain. The amygdala is bringing traumatic experiences all over and over again. And we have certain triggers. This all comes from the back of the brain. But through the new energy that's coming in, our frontal lobe with the pineal gland, the function of the pineal gland is getting more and more obvious for us and more available for us. And we open our consciousness towards the future. This is the memory of the past. This is our Neanderthal kind of baseball badge in our hands and give it to them. But our human development is going in this direction. And this is just beautiful. So if you meditate, especially on the pineal gland, this is what Jesus said, let that single eye, this pineal gland, open up this pineal gland, and your whole body will fill with light. This is what Jesus said. And this brings us back to the ancestral memory that we have. At one point, we were connected to this kind of paradise. And the pineal gland is very essential. And also these dark forces, I have to find a new name for it. I don't even like that word. But let's say the opposing forces that try to screw up with our DNA, that try to block the awakening of humanity through putting fluoride into our drinking waters, spray the sky with aluminum and all these toxics, blocking the sun, putting all the toxins in the food and spraying with pesticides. This was all designed to actually block this development. We only use 5% of our brain, so there's way more divine potential. 95% of the DNA is still not developed, so we have ways to go, and this is good news. But we have to really live a clean and very pure and simple life for this. And we have to clean our pineal gland, which you can easily do through, yeah, this is a topic for another, but there's certain foods you should really avoid, like all kinds of artificial sugars and everything that blocks your pineal gland, and cleanse this. Clean out your body, clean out your own house, your own temple. This is very essential so that we all can together make that leap into new humanity and the new world that we want to live in. So now you see how powerful the brain, how you can use your brain to really create a new world. Also, the pineal gland is very important for envisioning the future. You might know the Star Wars movie. You remember when that first, how's that little robot called? R2-D2, yeah. When the first holographic pictures were coming out. And Hollywood also always have the pictures first, the movies first, the technology first. And when we saw these holographics coming out of this little robot, we were like, wow, this is amazing. All these planets and the whole universes that they already, in the Hollywood studios, they built that up already. They presented us already to the technology that's already there for such a long time. And now we've discovered this as human beings. So now we're going more and more to the practical part. I hope it was not too much now. It was just a little bit of scientific proof and evidence there is. What we go a little bit more into the practical part. What do you do when you don't feel good? If you're really in a really miserable state, your husband is gone, you sit on the street or whatever is going on. This is a little bit extreme now, but a lot of people actually, this is fact, most people don't feel very good right now. And what can we do? There's a technique, it's called the Heart Brain Coherence technique. And this is a way how we can connect with our hearts in no time and generate a feeling of relaxation and feeling good in our bodies and in ourselves. And what I would like to do today, also on the people who take part in the Zoom, that today all over the globe, a lot of people meditate, they put their prayers out, their collective prayers, they connect, they demonstrate, hopefully, as it was announced all over the globe in big cities. And we connect our consciousness today. And we want to send a powerful vortex of love from the Russell Museum in Waynesboro. We want to participate, and this has a powerful like antenna into the quantum field. And this is what I would like to do with all of you together. So I hope you're ready for this. This is getting more now. You have been feeding your brain, and yeah. I invite you now to go into a meditative space, and also at home, if you're sitting in front of the computer, I invite you to really close your eyes and just touch your heart area with your hand. You just have a palpation. You just feel your heart. Just close your eyes, go within. Feel your heart. Maybe you notice your heartbeat. It's very important that you make some contact, connect to your heart. This is the first step. And if you are really in a very upset state, you can also just go to the bathroom or whatever you need to do, withdraw from the situation that upsets you. And we want to really have that contact to our heart. And now the second step is that you really breathe into your heart space and breathe a little bit more deeper than usual. Breathe deeply into your heart, in and out. Connect to your heart. Breathe into your heart space. Breathe deeply. Connect to your heart. And then the last step is that you generate a feeling of the heart with a memory where you have felt very happy, very connected, very loving, and very caring. A memory that you hold very dear in your heart. Maybe a nice sunrise, or the hug of a loved one, or the smile of a baby, and generate that feeling in your heart. And with this, you can see that only by having that memory, you can generate that feeling. You can recall that memory in your heart. And you feel it in your body. You can also put a smile on your face if you want to. That's even more enforcing the moment we smile. The heart gets the signal of well-being, of relaxation. And send your loving care and appreciation and gratitude into this moment. and really feel it with all of your heart. And feel, sense already the changes that this is doing in your body, in your mind, relaxes. And what we now do, please connect with the heart of your neighbor, the person that sits beside you. And connect in your heart with all the people in this room. And then connect with all the people in the building. We incorporate Jim, who's sitting in the entrance. Hello, Jim. And now expand your heartfelt gratitude and love into the whole street. All over Waynesboro. Expand your heart space, your appreciation, your gratitude, your love. And I invite all the people who are taking part in this Zoom call. Let's all connect in the hearts. And let's connect with all the people right now in this moment. A lot of people are meditating together, sending out this heartfelt compassion and love into the universe with connected heart. Connect with all the people and feel this strong connection all over the planet. Expanding our heart space all over the globe. And send your heartfelt compassion and love and gratitude to all the people on the planet. Also to the ones who might have not been awakened yet, to the ones who still live in fear. They need that the most. Send your heartfelt gratitude and compassion and love. And beam all this love and gratitude now out like a strong beam of light. I also would at that point love to honor the world and the work of Leo and Walter Russell, who were really such strong beacons of love. And I would love to honor them in this moment and connect with their spirits as well. And all the courageous spirits that are represented in the Russell Museum, like Mark Twain, all the presidents, all the wonderful people who are standing for truth and for love and for art and for freedom of thinking and love, creative expression. And now take a deep breath in and gather this strong heartfelt energy one more time. Hold your attention in the heart space, powerful vortex, and then breathe out and trust that the universe will take care of the details. It's just the seeds that we sow. And it's pretty amazing when Craig Braden was having his first talk and in several talks about the divine matrix, they connected the people in the room with the computers and they could measure the heart frequency going up. And I don't know what you felt, but I felt my heart was beating really very, very strong. And I wonder if you felt something. I felt it, definitely. There was a connection taking place. And at one point, I hope that we can really measure it too here. Maybe one point we can invite these people here and do these experiments. I could definitely feel it. And yeah, we sent a strong beam of light and love out into the universe. And I'm pretty sure it's going to come back. What we send out into the universe, it has to come back. And we have to learn to trust this once again. Some people call it trust in the path of God or whatever. And yeah, I hope you feel inspired to practice that. Anytime you feel really upset of what's going on, and we have a lot of reason right now to feel very upset and yeah, get angry or whatever, always try to come back to the heart. It's really about all yourself in the end, what you send out into the universe. I'm going to introduce you now to a few prayers, worldwide prayers and ancient codes. And the first one is a Navajo prayer. And I have these little maps. If anybody in the Zoom is interested, I can also ship out these maps. And I put some material together from what we did today. Let the feeling be the prayer. I would be very glad to send out some of them. We still have some left. And in general, it's very important that we start the day with setting the tone for the day already. This is a very powerful technique, because if we do not set up the day makes us. And this is very powerful. So if we have a positive vision of how the day is going to unfold, then we're going to have good chances that our day is going to unfold in that way. So this is a very powerful and very beautiful Navajo prayer. It's called Walk in Beauty. And if you want, you can just read it. When I read it, you can read it with me. It's not too loud now. Can you give me some feedback? Is it too loud or it's okay? Okay. So this is the prayer, the Navajo prayer from the Navajo people. In beauty I walk. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk. With beauty above me I walk. With beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again. Today I will walk out. Today everything negative will leave me. I will be as I was before. I will have a cool breeze over my body. I will have a light body. I will be happy forever and nothing will hinder me. I walk with beauty before me, with beauty behind me, with beauty below me, with beauty above me. I walk with beauty around me. My words will be beautiful. In beauty all day may I walk. Through the returning seasons may I walk. On the trail marked with pollen may I walk. With dew about my feet may I walk. With beauty before me may I walk. With beauty behind me may I walk. With beauty below and above me may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, lively may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, living again may I walk. My words will be beautiful. So there's a promise in ancient prophecies. If we make it through this dark time, it's also called the end of the Kali Yuga. If we make it through this time, on the other side of the veil, there will be beauty. And this is such a nice and powerful prayer. If you use these words and really do it like I showed you before, really speak these words from the heart, it's going to set the tone for your life and it's going to set the tone for a beautiful day. And everything, I tried it for myself. It really works. So I hope I could inspire you with this. Beautiful music from Carlos Nakai, Canyon Trilogy. I love these native flute sounds. Okay. How did that feel? Can you imagine to do this every morning and to really set the tone for a beautiful day, to walk in beauty before you, behind you, and nothing will hinder you? I still have situations, I set up my tone for the day and then you meet these people. who mess everything up, and you get angry, you get responsive, reactive again, and then you feel like, oh my God, here I am again. But we learn and we grow through all these experiences, and this is just beautiful. So the next one is called the divine name of God, Yod-He-Wah-He. Somebody else is joining. Hello, welcome. Hi. If you want, you can grab a map here. The red one is for you. You're more than welcome. So we just went through some scientific stuff, some heart brain coherence, Heart Math Institute, and how to pray in a way that's really coming from the heart and changes the mind and the brain. So the next prayer, it's one of the most powerful sounds there is on the planet, and it comes from the Hebrew alphabet, and it's called the Tetragrammaton. It means the four-letter word, the holy name. This is the personal name of God in the Hebrew alphabet. It's the Yod-He-Wah-He, also called the God code. Don't have a picture from it. I should have. This is how it looks, but you can see it in the maps. This is in the Hebrew alphabet, and we only chant the vowels. And there's I don't know if you ever heard about Jonathan Goldman. He's a sound healer. He works together with Craig Braden, and they made an astounding discovery that when they made a correlation between language, the Hebrew, the alphabet, and it's called gematria. This is the correlation between the atomic mass, the words and the letters, the Hebrew, Aramaic, and Sanskrit alphabet, and the building blocks of our DNA, the hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon. And they found the correlation between these, and they were relating these numbers that they have in the elemental, what Walter Russell is also talking about, the elements and stuff. And they decoded this ancient code, and they found the secret name of God in the DNA. And it says God eternal in our body. And I find this pretty amazing because it is proof also scientifically that God is in our DNA. That's already too far. So if you see all the helix shape of the DNA and all the four letters and the four-letter name in the tetragrammaton, in the Hebrew alphabet, it's God's divine name. And we want to chant that. And they found out in the sound healing that if you chant these vowels, these holy sacred letters of the Hebrew alphabet, it generates a harmony, a coherence in our body, and it also has an impact. It's always the same principle. It has a powerful impact into the unified field and also on the whole planet. And it's very interesting because it shows a lot that anytime we apply this technology on ourselves, it can bring healing. So it's also a very powerful sound, and it's supposed, if you have any loved one who has to transition into the other world dimension, it's supposed to be a sound that's very helpful to help your loved ones who transition into the other dimension. And I found this pretty amazing too. So if you want to tone with us, or if you just would like to listen, what we do is only chant the vowels, so the I-A-U-E, and very powerful. Also here, try to really come from the heart. Just listen, this is how God's divine name sounds. Yahweh. This is the sound of the cosmos. If you want, you can just listen, or if you really would like to have the experience in your body, I invite you now to chant it with me. You take a deep breath in, and then we start together. Just listen to that. That's God's name, God's divine name. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. You can feel it resonating in your cells, in your body, in your heart. So this, yes, exactly. That's the divine name. Yep. I am that. I am that I am. That's the oldest and most reliable proof that we have, a fingerprint of God. So this is Jonathan Goldman. This is all written, yeah. And you can find it on YouTube, or you can buy the CD. There's a fantastic, I had that once, a 5 booklet kind of CD, 5 CDs. It's Craig Braden first talking about the divine matrix, and then the Jonathan Goldman part with the science behind the DNA. I'm not so like in physics or chemistry or stuff. I'm not so familiar with that, but definitely what you have to understand that there's a divine fingerprint. And what I was talking about in the beginning, that right now they really try to interfere with this and to interrupt this. But what I found out, I think we don't have to be afraid of this, because I feel that God's power is way more powerful than any artificial intelligence, if you call it intelligence at all. For me personally, you might have a different opinion about this, but I think God's fingerprint is eternal. And this is what these guys still have to understand. There's something eternal going on. We come from an infinite source and we go back to an infinite source. And actually we have an infinite soul inside of us. So if they try to mess up with the DNA, this can just be an experiment. And personally, my wish is that we wake up globally as a humanity and end this. And how we can end it is that we take care of ourselves and vibrate. This is a good technique. This is a powerful technique to vibrate in that ancient code that we have, in harmony with the divine code, like the divine was set up for us. Also, I am, for example, I am is also, you can chant that. Whatever resonates with you, you have to find your own way. Now we come more to the yeah. It's all familiar. Yeah, it all comes from one source. Yeah. And all the different traditions, they have their variations according to their, teachings or whatever, but it all goes back to the same source. And you might hear that now we're going to come to the Om. This is going to be the next one. This is powerful. If you only meditate on this picture, hey, nope. You only meditate on this picture. And it said that out of the sound of Om, the whole universe was created. So what it suggests is that the divine source or whatever, there cannot be a Big Bang. Big Bang is a kind of theory that doesn't make any sense, because it's more likely that God birthed himself out and expanding forever from this sound. So the first thing that was there was sound and vibration. And if you chant Om, for example, it's the same with the divine name, you can heal your body only by the sounding of the Om. It's relaxing, it puts some order, some harmony into your body, and you can relax, and you can connect yourself with the divine creation. So this is going to be in one part now. It goes over into Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya is the sound of Lord Shiva. Just listen to that. It sounds a little bit different, but also similar. So that's Om. This is the sound where the whole universe was created from. The seed of creation. It starts first with the Om, and then it goes over into Om Namah Shivaya. And this is the Lord Shiva, the dance of Shiva. It's that ever reoccurring dance of transformation, destruction, creation, and if you want, you can tone in and we can tone this together. Om Namah Shivaya is a very powerful mantra for strength and transformation. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 So as you might have heard, the Om was always in the background, and the Om is swinging in every cell of our body. This is always in the background. This is such a loud world we're living in, and we do not hear the Om. And if we're very still, if we're very silent, we can hear the Om. You might do the experiment if you close both of your ears. You can just try that. Be experimental. Just close your eyes and you hear your ears, sorry, and you hear Om. This is your own heartbeat pumping. This is Om. When you turn your senses away from the outer world, you hear your own Om. And this is how you, the experience is everything. In the Kundalini Yoga, Yogi Bhajan said, experience is everything. And we have been so much trained to live from the mind and to not have the real experience, live in a cyber world. And it's all about the real experience. The Om Namah Shivaya is also, Shiva is standing for all the aspects that bring us to a place, to a breakdown of what is not true, to give way for something of a deeper truth and honoring that concept within ourselves. And this is a perfect analogy for the time we're in right now at the end of the Kali Yuga. We want to make way for something that is true, more lightful, and more, worth living. And I think we all would love to see that unfolding. I personally like that. And isn't that just beautiful? This is the dance. And there's no safety. There's no comfort zone. We have to leave this behind and we have to surrender to this cosmic dance. And this is again what I told you about Joe Dispenza. If we let go this ego's construction of ourselves and really surrender to this cosmic dance, we can free ourselves from our own ego little perspective and problems. And we can be so powerful. We can be a powerful creator. And we can turn everything that's showing up right now in the world. We can change this, turn this around. Now our journey continues more into the Christian era that's more familiar to us as a Western civilization. And I guess this is one of the most well-known and most powerful prayers. And this is a powerful code if you really learn how to really use it. And this says that God essence is present in all things and experiences, and the divine nature replaces any darkness and danger that may confront us. This is a very powerful prayer for spiritual and physical protection. And I think that's also something that we can use all. And if you want, you can read this with me together, like in the church. I would really like to do that together. And maybe you have even maybe you feel into what is it, the friction you still have. I used to have a hard time with finding back to this Christian stuff, but I really recently discovered how powerful this is. So let's just read this together. And if you're in the Zoom, if you have that, there are several versions of this. And so this is the one that I found. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. So what I heard now it sounded like in the church. There's a certain kind of rah, 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 rah. But let's try to do that one more time and really with the heart and with the understanding what this really means. This is so amazing. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So after every sentence or phrase, or only the. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's try this. I would really like you to put some more passion in the whole thing. So this is what happened to us since 2000 years of marching with the dullness of Christianity. I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but we have become to just so used to just repeat the words in a dull way, but really to feel what this means. I mean, this is really amazing. Shall we try it one more time? And I'd pick up your suggestion, and we just repeat the I am after our Father who art in heaven. That's pretty cool. Thank you. So what church was that? Oh, okay. Never heard about that. Thank you. Okay, so let's try it again with a little bit more passion. Our Father who art in heaven, I am. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. On earth, our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And amen is really also so powerful. It means already done, truly, verily. And it also suggests that this is already done. So you see the difference. Thank you. Could you feel the difference? Yeah. So the next one, I just invite you to listen. This is the Psalm 23. This is my favorite, personally my favorite, and I chose a variation. You know Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy. Most of you know that song. And here he made a version of the Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd," which gives me goosebumps anytime I hear it. And he dedicated that to his mother. He dedicated this to the divine feminine and to his mother. So he rewrote the whole thing a little bit. And this is such a powerful psalm. It's one of the most powerful psalms on the face of the earth. And it was composed 3,000 years ago. And it can be backed to the time back to the time of the ancient Babylon and the Code of Hammurabi. And the picture of the shepherd, it touches something deep in our soul. And also the chants and the prayer, they go beyond our thinking mind. They touch our soul on a deep level. So just, if you want, close your eyes and just listen to this beautiful version. Or if you want to just read it. I just love that. She makes me lie down in green meadows, beside the still waters she will be. She restores my soul, she rights my wrongs, she leads me in a path of good things, and fills my heart with song. Even though I walk through a dark and dreary land, there is nothing that can shake me. She has said she won't forsake me. I lift her hand. She sets a table before me in the presence of my foes. She anoints my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Oh, how did you like that? Most beautiful word. When I heard that the first time, it's from a Medicine Man from Bobby McFerrin, and it's a powerful, really wonderful album. And when I heard it first, I thought, what is this? What is this Psalm 23 doing here on this album? And it's pretty powerful. It's gives you strength and comfort in times of loss, grief, and if you're really in need of of something that comforts you. I love it. So you can find all this this Bobby McFerrin YouTube or whatever if you want to listen to that again. So if that's okay for you, next thing is you also might not Tina Turner in a way like that. What I would like you to introduce you now. She made a beautiful album. It's called Beyond, and she worked together with a Tibetan musician and a Christian musician, and they created such a wonderful album, and it's filled with prayers from all over the world. And she has a spiritual message, and this is just how prayer is really important for us to bring us beyond what I just was talking about the whole time. And this is so powerful. We have to go to the mother within and to go inside and to find the values that are beyond everything that we know, the 3D reality that we can leave behind now and step into that 5D reality. And the 5D reality, right now, most of the people are stuck in the 4D world. It's based on fear and all that we find right now playing out. And the 5D is already in that world where we live from the heart and where we live with compassion and really in peace, in harmony with each other. So you can just read this and just follow this. It starts with a Tibetan mantra for the Queen Tara, Omkari, Kuchari, and also spiritual messages from Science.
Nothing lasts forever. No one lives forever. A flower that fades and dies. Winter passes and spring comes. Embrace the cycle of life that is the greatest love. Go beyond fear. Go beyond fear. Beyond fear takes you into the place where love grows. When you refuse to follow the impulses of fear, anger, and revenge. Beyond means to feel yourself. Start every day singing like the birds. Singing takes you beyond, 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 beyond. We need a repeated discipline, a genuine training to let go our old habits of mind and to find and sustain a new way of feeling. Go beyond the right and the wrong. Prayer cleans the head and brings back peace to the soul. Go beyond to feel the wonder of the unity. Singing takes you beyond, 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 beyond. are all the same, all the same. Looking to find our way back to the source, to the one, to the only one. Go beyond revenge. The greatest moment in our lives is when we allow us to teach each other. Go beyond to feel the oneness of the unity. Singing. Singing takes you beyond, 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 beyond. Take the journey. Take the journey inside of you to become quiet, to hear the beyond, to become patient, to receive the beyond, to become open, to invite the beyond, and be grateful. Be grateful to allow the beyond. Be in the present moment to live in the beyond. Start every day singing like a bird. Singing takes you beyond, beyond, beyond. What does love have to do with it? Love grows when you trust. When you trust, love heals and renews. Love inspires and empowers us to do great things and makes us a better person to love. Love makes us feel safe and brings us closer to God. When you go beyond, that's why you find true love. Keep singing. Singing takes you beyond. 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 Beyond.
So that's it's in a nutshell. It's just beautiful, very powerful. What it takes from us, what it asks us is really to have practice, discipline. If we want to leave our old ways behind, it really takes some, like a muscle, it needs some training. So I invite you to really do that. And it can be fun. It doesn't have to be so serious. Singing like a bird in the morning, sing, start with something positive, but don't let all what is taking place right now drag you down, because this is exactly where these forces are feeding from our fear, from our negativity, from our going against each other. And we have to come from a place where we even have to understand the people who are wearing masks. So with that said, I would love to end this part now with the very powerful message from the natives again. I opened up with the Native Americans, and I would love to end with the message from this 13 indigenous grandmothers. These are 13 grandmothers from all native tribes all over America. And they have a very powerful message for us for this time. And here they are. Aren't they beautiful? I just love it. And they have a very powerful message. We can read that. You can read that with me. And yeah, I think they have, this is very important that we take that to heart. So as you move through these changing times, be easy on yourself and be easy on one another. You are at the beginning of something new. You are learning a new way of being. You will find that you're working less in the young modes than you're used to. You will stop working so hard to getting from point A to B the way you have in the past, but instead you will spend more time experiencing yourself in the whole and your place in it. Instead of traveling to a goal out there, you will voyage deeper into yourself. Your mother's grandmother knew how to do this. Your ancestors from long ago knew how to do this. They knew the power of the feminine principle, And because you carry their DNA in your body, this wisdom and this way of being is within you. Call on it and call it up. Invite your ancestors in. As the young-based habits and the decaying institutions on our planet begin to crumble, look up. A breeze is stirring, and feel the sun on your wings. I'm very grateful that we did this together, and I thank you very much. Thank you.
And that is why I say that this course of lectures is to give everyone the knowledge of God's creative processes, the means he employs, the balance which he demands, the separateness of father-motherhood into fathers and mothers, which must interchange in balance in order to unite and as one. And that applies to every corpuscle of the body as well as it applies to every individual entity as a whole.